Hi everybody, we're in my sewing room again. There's Blarney and Dublin, and today we're going to show you how to do twin needles, and it's just going to be me because they have no thumbs. Okay, so I have my machine on. I don't have it threaded at all, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a twin needle in. So a twin needle is anything that has two needles. And twin needles come in different sizes. So this is a 2.0 80. So it's a size 80 and it's 2 millimeters in between the two needles. This one is 2.5 and they go all the way up to 8. You can't use an 8 if you have a 5.5 millimeter stitch width. You can only go up to 4. But if you have a 9 millimeter stitch width like I do on this, then you can go as wide as 8 millimeters. Okay, so today we'll use the 2.5. It's probably one of the more common ones. So that's the needle there. And we're going to take it out. Now, you might have the screwdriver and a screwdriver that loosens this right here to take the needle out. Kevin actually likes us to use our hands because what we tend to do with these is we crank it too tight and then eventually you're going to do damage or break that. My dad used to say it's better that you change your tires and put the nuts on because you'll tighten them to what you can get them off. Obviously it has to be tight that it won't fall off, but so I'm just going to use my finger here and tighten it. Yeah. And then if I use my fingers, actually, I'm not worried about over tightening it. I can tighten it. And so that's what it looks like on. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to tell my machine that I have a double needle in it. And that stops me from doing a zigzag that might break the needle. So I have a 9 millimeter stitch plate in. So I'm just going to go to this icon here. And it's a stitch plate, and if I open that you can see it has a selection of needles. Yeah, so 4.0 would be the highest you can go with a 5.5 millimeter stitch, and 8 would be for this machine. You can also see there's a triple needle, so you can use triple needle, and that's a wing needle that actually cuts fabric. It has little blades on the sides. This is a twin needle with a blade. Those are used more for heirloom sewing, like through batiste. So I have the 9 millimeter plate in there, and now I'm going to tell it 2.5. Okay, and then I can just close that. You can see that what lit up here too is now in yellow. So it won't let me go any further than that because it would break the needle. I'm going to tell it what foot I'm going to use. And probably what foot. I actually have an assortment here. I have the 34D, which might be nice because it's clear so you can see what it's doing. Or you can even use the 10 as long as it's wide here. Also, this had an edge, like it's an edge stitch, so I'll show you this. This is one that we would not use, the 97D, because it is a straight stitch foot, and obviously you would break your needles, so it wouldn't even let me do that. And then the walking foot, you can quilt with these, and you can also free motion quilt with these, so we'll do that. So I'm going to use 2 different color threads, and the first one I'm going to put on, you have 2 thread holders. You have this one and then you have this one. And I also, because I use cones, I could very easily use this one too. If I'm using this one, I actually, whenever I sew, I have a cone on there, I can actually show you. So when I use this cone holder, I actually bring it through here and then here. And then there's a little metal piece there, and I just put it through here, and then I thread it. And then this gives it a straight line into here. And that is always better for thread because it's designed to go like this rather than like this. So just putting it in there is much better. For this, we're just going to use the other 2. So I'm going to put a foam disc on that one. I'm also going to put a foam disc on this one. And also, I don't know if you noticed, but this actually goes wider at the base. And these, you don't want to be forcing them. See, it gets tight, so it's loose here and tight there. And you don't want to be forcing them down here because it actually will change the shape of this. So yeah, over time, like if you do that, Kevin just fixed one today by heating it up and putting it back the way it should be. But yeah, they're just meant to go there, not all the way down. So you don't put a bobbin there to use it and push this all the way down, because then it'll only stay there, it won't stay up here. If you want to use a bobbin for a third thread, you can just use it on here. Okay, so I'm going to put a foam there, and I'm going to pick yellow for here. Yellow. Okay, and see, I just put that there, and then so see how this goes like this? That's so that the thread is coming off smoothly. Okay, and then I'm going to go up around here, just like normal, then down, and then down, and down. Now the hard part about all this, and then the last guide, is that you can't use your needle threader. So I have to do it. Oh, nice. So I'm just going to do the left one first. Doesn't really matter. I do like the left because it goes furthest into that guide there. And then the next one is I'm going to do turquoise. So this one's actually just going to go up here like that. And then again in the same slot. And I'm actually just going to keep this tight like that. And then there. Okay. So that's what it's looking like now. And now I'm going to thread this needle. So yeah, they're going through all the same guides. And I just missed this guide there. Now again, it's important that your presser foot is in the up position. I don't actually have a foot on here, so it's not doing anything because I don't have a foot on. But you want it up so that these discs again are open to receive the thread in there. If they're closed when the presser foot is down, then it's not gonna go in the disc necessarily. And then what you get is looping on the bottom. The top looks great, but the bottom looks terrible. Okay, so I put my number 10 foot on, so I'm actually going to tell my machine 10. I have a 790, so it does require me to tell what foot is on. Some, like the 750 and 770, it just actually suggests the best foot for a certain thing. So you can actually see with this number 10 foot, if I'm doing this, I actually did these with batting because I want to show you how to quilt. If you weren't doing batting, anytime that you use, this isn't too bad because it's narrow, but as you get wider, you want to have stabilizer because as it gets wider, it tends to pinch like that. And that's just the nature of any sewing. So it doesn't matter whether you have a Bernina or whatever. If you're doing wide satin stitch or anything like that, you want a nice stabilizer on the bottom. The batting in this case acts as a stabilizer. So I'm just going to show you with this. If I wasn't quilting, I could use my number 10 foot, and what's going to happen here is that's going to run right along that edge. I have my feed dogs down. Okay. So I can just run that right along that edge. Pull this out. So that's pretty cool, eh? So I did a nice little stitch on either side without having to go back and forth. Cool, eh? Now, it's important to remember that this has only one thread on the bottom, right? So it's going to do a zigzag in order to catch all of them. So that's what the back's going to look like. And if you've ever seen some of Linda's quilting, she actually did a lot with the double needle, and she has zigzag on the back. And if you have a busy background, you're not even going to notice it, right? But so now, so that's with the number 10 foot, which is really cool. But you can also use the quilting foot. So here we're going to just put our walking foot on. And I'm just going to go down here. Oh, I better tell her that I have my walking foot on. Number 50. There it is. Okay. Now it's showing. So there's actually an edge stitch sole for this too that you could put on. And then that would be nice if you're running along the edges. Which I'm not sure where my sew plate is. Yeah, but it's in the ditch and it has a bar like the number 10. So you could put that on. I don't have it on, but you can certainly do that if you're quilting. I often do grids with this, so I've done a lot of pillows. So see, it works great with a walking foot. Okay. All right. Now maybe we want to just go down here. Now, can you do a zigzag with this? Well, I've told my machine so safely I could actually go to the zigzag, and if you notice, it's automatically set, but I can't do it any wider. See, it won't let me go wider than that, than 2.5, and that's so that it doesn't break the needle. So if I do a zigzag, this is what it's going to look like, which is pretty cool. Cool, eh? Neat, eh? So this is 2.5. If you had wider, it'll go wider. So you can also do any decorative stitch as long as you know it's not going to break it, or you've put your safety feature on. So I could go to my Quilting Stitches and I could, let's say, I think there's a really cool curly one. This $13.96. And see, it's not going to be that curvy because it can't go that wide. Yeah. So, but boy, that's really neat. Yeah. So now you can also free motion with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my walking foot off. And I'm going to put on my 29. So it's got a wide opening. This is a 29C. So I could actually do a zigzag free motion with it too. And notice what I did there? Instead of trying to get all my threads in there, before I hook this up, I'm just going to put this back in the guide there. I actually just pop it through like that, grab my threads, and then I put it on its post, and ta-da! Now I want to tell my machine it's the 29C, so I'm going to go 29, and there's the C. There we go. So it's not going to let me do anything that I shouldn't. I'm just going to go to straight stitch because we're going to do free motion. I'm going to drop my feed dogs, so they're now yellow. And I'm still going to bring up my bobbin thread. There it is. better. I don't have my gloves on, so I really do like. I call my 3s and E's. An E, and we'll do a 3. Cool, eh? So cool. So with this too, I'm going to put it onto a zigzag, and even though it's on my free motion, you can see that this will do a zigzag, so it kind of gives you a weird thing happening, but maybe for a certain quilt it would look pretty neat. A little wacko. Yeah, isn't that lovely? Yeah, maybe my next quilt. And then again, that's on the back is that zigzag. There. I hope that helped everybody. Thanks. Say goodnight, dogs. Goodnight, puppies. Thanks to the cameraman.